movie review.
Don't be afraid of the dark.
Here is the synopsis.
Sally, a girl who's given to her father by her mother for no really good explanation, is trapped alone in the dark.
With creatures of the
Creatures
night.
of the night. And not prostitutes.
And here is our review. Josh, what did you think of this movie?
I thought it was predictable.
Oh, yeah.
It was boring.
Oh, yeah.
And the creatures didn't really come off as scary to me.
Not at all.
It's a movie that little kids would be afraid of.
Literally, I felt like if I was 6 or 7, I would probably freak out about this.
Yeah, definitely.
Only way I'd freak out. This is definitely not an adult horror movie. It
Didn't grip me like that.
No. And the ridiculousness of the creatures that we don't see at all until the end. And at the end, you're just like,
This is what they're afraid of?
my gosh.
I mean, I get it. They're supernatural, fairy
Things.
things that eat children and teeth, apparently. Which I don't understand. They didn't explain a whole lot. They didn't explain how they got there. They didn't explain why they're living in the furnace. They didn't explain why they're under this random house.
And it felt like to me, you know how it's called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark? I got it confused with Are You Afraid of the Dark? Because it felt like a short from Are You Afraid of the Dark? It really did.
Because it has a little girl in there, Sally. I don't know your name. You're
Right.
kind of a freaky kid. But,
Yeah.
Katie Holmes and
Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce, who I don't know either. He looks like a douchier Brad Pitt.
My problem with Guy Pearce being in this film is that he should have not taken the dad role, because usually he takes villains or action heroes. Not
Why?
even joking.
He played a really nice douchebag in this movie.
Exactly.
The kid is troubled.
Yeah.
Her mom sent her on a plane by herself to live with her father across the country
Why?
we don't know.
We don't know.
All we are told is that it's going to be good for her.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
She took Adderall once. So apparently she has some sort of concentration issue, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't explain why the mother sent her.
No, not at all. It kind of sounded like... And then when the mom got on the phone, she was like the most happy-go-lucky lady I've ever heard.
I know. It wasn't like, honey, you can't come home. We're under hard times here.
Right.
It was like, it sounded like there was a party in the background.
It did. There was no point of her being with her dad.
It.
At all.
The only part of the movie I liked was the ending. And not because...
Of the credits?
Not because of the credits, not because it was over, but because it actually showed these creatures as being powerful.
Yeah. And that sucks, because if they would have made the creatures powerful first,
Yeah.
I would have liked it more.
I mean, apparently there's an army of them, but
Right.
you don't know that.
No.
It only looks like there's 7 or 8.
And not only are the monsters not, like, scary, they're so bad CGI'd, it's ridiculous.
And no offense to this girl who plays Sally, looks like you don't really see these monsters.
Yeah.
You
Agreed.
when you look at these monsters, it says, "Oh, they're my friends at first," and then suddenly you're afraid of them. We get it. Between one part to another, they killed they maimed that old man.
Right.
But there was no attachment to your character. At the end, I'm like, Corey, you know what I would do if my house was infested by little gnome fairies?
What, Josh?
Well, one, I wouldn't take any crap from them.
It's true.
At one point, they locked Guy Pearce in the garage. They knocked him unconscious. If a fairy had done that to me, I would have woken up, door locked, smashed their window, open door, gas can in hand, lighter in the other, and they would have just saw me prancing around outside, squirting gasoline everywhere, going, ha 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 ha, and then you wouldn't. I couldn't even say what I would say to him
Right.
because Corey would have to duck me out the whole time. It'd be like, ha 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 ha, you're a mother trucker, ha ha, and they just see me dancing with gasoline, going, this guy's a lunatic.
It's not only that, but there's a part where the little, I don't even know what to call them. I'll just call them gremlins, because it felt like they were gremlins.
Yeah.
They carried Sally away, and I laughed. It was hysterical.
Because, okay, they carried her away, and the first scene you see, it's a side view of her being pulled, and you see her legs, like, doing this to to pull her along with it.
Yeah.
It's like, who made this movie?
This horror movie was such a paint-by-numbers horror film that it was just that bad. I predicted, like, we predicted the part where, like, oh, they're going to blame her for, like, Katie's Holmes' dress getting messed up. Then they're going to call a psychiatrist. It went exactly how we said.
Like Sigmund Freud.
He did.
Spoiler. Katie Holmes gets trapped. It turns out that the rope trap that they're dragging Sally down with is for her, and when she cuts the rope drags her back, and she gets pinned up against the wall, and it breaks her leg. Yeah. This is the only gore, like, hardcore gore in this whole
And it's pretty
movie.
awesome.
And I thought it was such a good ending. It was a suspenseful ending. If you had kept that through the whole movie, you would have had me.
It makes me upset because, like, you could see their potential. Like, you could see they could do something with that movie.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
I think if that movie was up to rated R,
Yeah.
and they had set more of a story and made it a little longer,
Right.
it would have been really good. If you had more staff around the house, and you could see these creatures attacking them, and then it looking like a bunch of accidents, that would be suspenseful.
So what do you rate this movie, my friend?
I'm gonna give it a 3. The only thing that saved you from a 1 and 2 is the ending.
I give it a 2 just because it upsets me that the ending was the only part that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for voting on the polls. I'm going to have the poll this week, and that's
great.
Hey, you know what? Shut up!
We all know what this is gonna do.
It's going to mean awesomeness and good movies.
Sure.
We shall see you next time
On Netflix Critics!
Bye! That was the lamest but awesome. So we shall see you next time on Netflix Credit. So we shall see you next time on...